Hello, my dear children. Welcome to today's class. So, what are we learning today? Today, we will be learning about how to receive and send messages and what is it called. So, when we are talking to each other, right now, also, when I am talking to you, children, that means we are having a communication. So, sending messages, receiving messages, understanding other people's feelings, all these are the part of communication. We can talk, we can write the letters or messages and convey our messages. Similarly, our facial expressions, our body language, our hand gestures also convey a lot of messages to the other people. So, what are these all called? How can we send and receive messages? That everything will be covered in this chapter today. Shall we start reading? All right. What is communication? When two or more people talk to each other or send messages to each other and read it, this process is called communication. So, what is communication? Communication is sending, receiving, and understanding messages. Now, why do we need to communicate? So, we need to tell the other people the piece of information. That's why we need to communicate. If we are not well, if we are hurt, if we are happy, if we are excited, if we are having any sort of pain somewhere, we need to communicate to tell all these things. Then, whatever is happening in the world around, that is to be told to everyone so that they know what is happening around. So, for all these things and for many other things, we need to communicate to each other. We need to know how our loved ones are feeling. If the people are not living with us, but we want to know that how are they doing? Are they fine or not? We need to hear from them. So that's why we need to communicate with each other. All animals need to communicate to show their feelings. Living beings like to care and share, so they need to communicate. We communicate to express our feelings to others. We express ourselves by talking to others. We send verbal or non-verbal messages to express our feelings. Speaking and writing are the most common mode of communication. So we speak and tell how are we feeling. Even we can write and tell how are we feeling. We express ourselves in the form of words. These are called verbal communication. So when words are being used to communicate the feelings, whether it is in the written form or in the spoken form, these are called the verbal communication. Now, when we do not use words to communicate and we use only the facial expressions or hand gestures or body language, that is called non-verbal communication. So, babies do that, animals do that. People who cannot speak, they use a sign language, a non-verbal way of communication to express their feelings. We also express ourselves through gestures and signs. We express ourselves through body language. One can see our faces and can understand our feelings. These are called non-verbal communication. We can guess if someone is happy just by looking at the face of the person. So, nowadays, what is the fastest means of communication? That's a telephone or a mobile phone where two people can talk to each other even while moving or at all the times. Nowadays, we have many means of communication. So, apart from just the telephonic communication, there are other means of communication nowadays, and technology has opened new ways of expressing ourselves. So, let us talk about different means of communication available at present. What are the means of communication? We use different means of communication to stay in contact with others. We can contact someone individually by talking or writing to someone directly. So what we can do, we can just talk to, I want to talk to some person, I can talk to that person personally, individually, on a telephone, or by writing letter, or by writing an email to that person, or by sending a WhatsApp message or an SMS. So we can communicate our message to many people at a time, or to one person at a time. So, individual or personal communication. This communication is between two or more people directly. Okay, so when a teacher is giving a lecture in the class, and the teacher just makes one child to stand up, and she asks the question and the child is answering, that's a personal communication, that's an individual communication between two people. Okay, even when a teacher is standing in a class and talking to all the children of the class, that is also a personal communication between teacher and the students. We talk to our friends in school, we talk to our family at home. This is called individual or personal communication. We can communicate personally in many ways. So, how can we do that? We can just do that by talking one to one, right? If I talk to the other person, or I talk to a group of people, that is one way. Then we use direct talking. Then we can use a telephone to talk to an individual, or on mobile phone we can have a conference of friends, and then also that is a way of direct communication. Then letters, messages, emails, they are all used to communicate with someone personally. So let's see about letters. What are the letters? We write a letter to a person, then we get a letter from the post office. We write a letter, we write the address at the back side of the letter, and then we post the letter in the post box. Then that box is being opened by a postman, and the postman takes out all the letters, takes it to the post office, and the letters are being sorted according to the area, according to the address, and then the postman just takes all the letters of a particular area, and they post it to different address in that area. This is how we send letter, we send messages through letter personally to someone. We usually write a letter to the people who do not live in the same city, or who do not live in the same country. Okay, we write a letter to our friends, relatives, or others to send our message. We express ourselves in words and write them on a paper or on an inland letter. We write the address of the person to whom we are sending the letter. We stamp the letter and post it in a letter box. Postman collects the letters and sends them to their destination, where other postman delivers the letters, and our messages reaches to the person whom we are writing the letters to. Now, this is about the letters. Now comes another way, that is aerograms and telegrams. So telegrams, what are telegrams? Telegrams are very short messages that are being to be sent in urgency. Okay, and it is the fastest postal service. So, sending letters or sending telegrams, these are all the postal services. And the postal service, the speed post also, it's the postal service. So, the telegram, that's the fastest way of postal service, and people use telegrams to send urgent messages. We write aerograms to the people living in other countries. Aerogram is also a letter sent out of the country. Similarly, we have speed post, register post for sending our documents. So, see, these are the different modes of These are the different modes of communication, personal communication: a letter, letterbox, then a telephone, and telegram. Now, what is a telephonic communication? The fastest and most commonly and the convenient way of communication is our telephonic conversation. One can speak directly to the person and give the message. So, what do? We just pick up the telephone, dial the number, and we can talk to the person directly we want to talk to. So earlier, there were only the fixed lines which we could not use while we were traveling. But nowadays, the telephones have been, what do I say? They have been developed, they have been modified into the mobile phones. Landlines are still there, but the mobile phones also have been invented, which can be used even while we are traveling. So we can talk to a person anytime, at any point of time, even while we are traveling. So it keeps people in touch who are living far away from each other. We can talk to people living in other countries like we are standing close. Earlier, there were landlines which were fixed to one place with telephone wires. Fax and telex are other telephone modes of communication. Fax is used for the instant delivery of messages and documents. So, what happens? There is a fax machine, and we have to send a message on a fixed telephone line. So, on the mobile phone, we can just send a WhatsApp message or an email or an SMS. But on the fixed lines, we cannot do that. So, what do? We send a message, and the message or the letter or the documents are being typed out through a fax machine. Okay, we can write a message or scan a document and send it to the phone of the receiver. He can get the print of the message or the document instantly. Telex is used to send and receive signals on telephone lines. Both fax and telex are attached to the landline phones. With advanced technology, now we have mobile phones which can be carried anywhere along. We can even talk while traveling. We can make local, interstate, international calls by telephone. Mobile phones can send short messages that are called SMS. Now, the next means of personal communication is the computer and the internet. Now the technology is so advanced that we use computers, laptops to send messages. What do we need is internet, and through internet we can send emails just in few seconds from here to there. So, computers are a great invention. They have become the most important means of communication. Invention of the internet has made it very easy to search for any information instantly. So, whatever information we need, we just go to a search engine on the laptop or computer or mobile phones and just type whatever we want to search, and we can have a whole research about that topic. Computers are linked to the internet, and through the internet, we communicate with the world. So, from any part of the world, two people can talk to each other, they can communicate with each other, they can make video calls with each other through mobile phones, through laptop, through computers, and we do not miss each other this way. We communicate with the world. We can contact any person living anywhere in the world through an email sent on the internet. We can also share information, documents, and pictures with others in just few seconds. Now, there are so many social media platforms also where we can share. We can be socially active there, although we should be very cautious on the social media platforms and should not share our personal information there, but we can be socially active and be connected with our friends and family members over there. Internet is also available on mobile phone. We can send and receive mails even when we are moving. This has made communication very simple and easy. We can even contact someone on a video call or through conferencing among more than two people. So, video call is one of the very, very finest invention till date. People living abroad in different cities, overseas, we can just make a video call to them, and we can make a conference call also, and all the family members who are living away from each other, they can just communicate at one platform with each other, and we can talk face to face, and this way we feel connected, we feel close to each other. Now let's write that what is communication. So sending and receiving messages is called communication. In how many ways can we communicate personally? There are four ways in which we can communicate personally. Now, what is the means of mass communication? Before, we have just discussed personal communication, direct communication, where two people or more people are directly talking to each other through various means. But now there are few means of communication by which a piece of information has to be spread among masses of people, among many number of people at one time. So news channels, the television, the radios, the broadcast channels, the magazines, the books, they are the perfect example of this mass communication, where the communication has to be done from one source to masses, to the number of people, and through this information is being spread. So, mass communication is sending messages to a lot of people together. It does not include the exchange of messages as in individual or personal communication. So, newspaper, television, radio, magazines, and internet are some means of mass communication. The news of the world is relayed on television to all people across the world. So, through television, through news channels, we can see what is happening in every part of the world. So, if in if there is any war zone, we can know about it. If there is any development, any invention, we know about it. If there is any sports event going in the world, we can know about it. So there is the through television, mass means of communication is being done. It can be local relay, a national relay, or a worldwide relay. We also get entertainment through radio and television. So through radio and television, we listen to the songs from different parts of the world. We can listen to the Bollywood music, the Tollywood music, or the music from all over the world. And same with the movies, we can watch movies also, and it keeps us entertained. They are the best means of mass communication. Similarly, newspapers also provide news and other information to the masses. We can see advertisements and notices in the newspaper. Magazines contain specific information related to a field. So, if it's a sports magazine, or it's a fashion magazine, or it is some informative magazine, so it contains those kind of information articles in that particular magazine only. Or it is a children magazine, and it includes a lot of puzzles and cartoons and crossword puzzles. So, different magazines are designed according to different needs. We get to know about the new things happening in the field like sports, fashion, entertainment, education, etc. through magazines. Books are also a very good way of mass communication. So, there are very renowned writers who write their books, and they are being read all over the world by different people. And through these books, the writers actually spread information, their mindset, and they educate people, they awaken people in many forms. So these are some of the different means of mass communication. Telephone, although has been given here by mistake, and it is the means of personal communication, not the mass communication. But a radio, television, then an email and a newspaper, or all these are the means of mass communication. The internet is one of the most effective means of mass communication. You can find information regarding any field on internet on your computer or mobile. And through internet, if any piece of information has to be spread, it can be done through internet, and it can be just floating on various channels, the online channels. Now, these are the terms that we learned today. Relay means to put a program on radio or television in reel, in repeat. Verbal means using words, non-verbal means without using words, and instantly means without delay. Now, also remember that people exchanging their feelings and messages is called communication. We need to communicate to tell our feelings, expressions to others. All living beings need to communicate. Communication can be personal communication or mass communication. Personal or individual communication is direct communication between two or more people. Personal communication can be verbal or non-verbal. In verbal communication, we use words, written or spoken. In non-verbal communication, we express our feelings through gestures or signs. Mass communication is the message sent to a lot of people at the same time. It does not include exchanging of messages. So it is mostly just one-way communication. Okay? Letters, talks, telegrams, phones, mobiles, etc. are the means of personal or individual communication. Telephone, radios, newspaper, magazine, and the internet are means of mass communication. So let's complete this exercise and see what have we learned in today's lesson. You have to circle the odd one out. Television, radio, newspaper, and inland letter. So inland letter, all the rest are the mass communication, and this is the personal. Post office, postman, fax, and postbox. So fax. All the other things are related to letters, the postal letters. Fax machine, computer, landline and telex machine. So computer, because fax machine and telex machine are related to the landline, and computer is something different. Internet, newspaper, magazine, book. So here, although all are the means of mass communication, but still internet is the virtual thing, and it is being used. It is not a print means of mass communication. Rest are all the print means of mass communication. Computer, email, telegram, SMS. Telegram, because telegram is the postal way of communication, and rest all are not. Now let's fill in the blanks. Exchanging messages and feelings are called communication. Writing a letter is a verbal mode of communication, while communicating with facial expressions and body language is a non-verbal. We can search internet for any information at any time of the day. Telephonic conversation is the fastest mode of communication. Television and radios are mass means of communication. You have to take the correct statements and cross out the wrong ones. We can live without communicating with people around us? No. Individual communication is direct communication with people, correct? Personal communication include the relay of news and information on television, wrong. We can search for information regarding any field on internet, correct? We can use internet only on computers, wrong. We can use it on mobile phones as well. You have to identify the following as verbal or non-verbal means of communication. Letters are verbal, sign language is non-verbal, braille script is verbal, body language is non-verbal, and facial expressions are also non-verbal. All right. So you have to answer the following questions in your notebook yourself. We can discuss over here in short. Why do we need to communicate? We need to communicate to express our feelings and expressions to the other people. Write 4 means of personal communication. They are the telephone, fax or telex, email. I'll just tell you from here that letters, talk, telegram, phones, mobiles, they are all the means of personal communication. How can we communicate through mobile phones? So we can communicate through mobile phones by talking, by having an audio call, a video call, sending an SMS, and sending a WhatsApp message, or by sending emails. How is internet useful for us? So internet is useful for us in many ways. For example, searching a search engine for any information, for sending emails, for receiving emails, for video calls, for sending various messages, for mass communication also internet is being used, for taking online classes nowadays internet is being used. Write 5 means of mass communication. So, television, radio, newspaper, magazine, internet, these are all the means of mass communication. So, you can just write from there. Now, these are some project-based learning, and you can uh, take help of your teachers, work in groups and with your family members to complete this fun-based exercise. What you can do is you can take the help of your elder sibling or your parents or your teachers and try to write a letter. Try to learn how to write a letter to a relative who is not living very close to you, and you want to know how they are doing. You want to invite them to some festival, and just so this letter is mostly about the Dashera break and inviting the other person on the Dashera break. So please take help of your teacher and learn how to write a letter. Then written below are the names of some channels that you watch on television. So you have to write down what do you see on these channels. So for example, Aaj Tak is for news, India Today is for news, Nat Geo is for watching animals and environment. The full form is National Geographic Channel. Star Sports is for watching sports, and Pogo and Cartoon Network is for watching cartoons. They are for watching cartoons. Now, there are the pictures of some means of communication over here. You have to identify whether they are the personal means of communication or mass means of communication and write P for personal or individual means of communication and M for mass means of communication. Let me do the first line for you, and rest you are going to do in pairs with your friends. A telephone is personal, fax machine is personal, again mobile phone is personal, this is again a fixed line, it's a personal, and that's a cordless phone and it is also personal. So everything over here is personal in first line. All right. Rest you are going to do yourself. Now you have to write any 5 ways in which the internet is useful to us. We discussed that just a couple of minutes back, but still I'm going to write 2 for you. So in the pandemic time, we learned a new mode of education, that is online learning. Online classes, online learning, online education, online schools that is being done on the internet, also to search about anything, about any information. Internet is being used, then you can make video calls through internet. Now you have to apply your mind to see that what internet is used for. You can discuss with your friends and write the answer over here. That's all in today's chapter. I hope you have learned about various means of communication, how we communicate with each other, and why do we communicate with each other. So keep learning, keep shining. Bye bye.